Welcome back to My Life on a GLP-1. I'm your host, Scott Johnson, and with me as always, Sarah is joining us.
Hi everyone, we're so glad you're tuning in.
Today we're diving into a topic that I know resonates with almost everyone on this journey. It's that feeling when you take your weekly shot and it just hits different.
Oh, absolutely. One week you feel like you've achieved a higher plane of existence, and the next you're standing in front of your fridge like you've never seen one before.
Exactly. We call it the monk week versus the raccoon week. Today, we're going to break down exactly why that happens and why it's completely normal. Let me paint a picture for you. I had this one week right after my shot. I was a machine. Emails done, closet cleaned, water intake perfect. I didn't think about food once.
Okay, that sounds good.
It was like the food noise that's been the background music of my life just stopped.
That's the monk week. Total enlightenment,
Total enlightenment. I thought, okay, this is it. I figured it out.
right? And then the next week happens.
The next week, same dose, but suddenly I'm staring into the fridge, not hungry, but searching. Then, a few hours later, I'm hungry. Like, where did the suppression go? Kind of hungry. It can be so confusing if you don't know what's going on.
So let's get into it. Why does this happen?
The first and maybe biggest reason is that injecting into that layer of fat under your skin, well, it's not a precise science.
Right. It's not like an IV drip going straight into the bloodstream.
Exactly. Subcutaneous absorption varies a lot. Things like blood flow, body temperature, even scar tissue from previous injections can change how quickly the medication gets into your system.
So a faster absorption might feel really strong for a day or two, and a slower one might feel more spread out, or even weaker at first.
That's it. A simple tip here is to rotate your injection sites consistently. Don't just stick to one favorite spot, and let the pen get to room temperature before you inject. It can make a small but noticeable difference.
That makes sense. What's next on the list?
Delayed gastric emptying. This is a huge part of how GLP-1s work. They slow down how fast your stomach empties, which makes you feel full longer.
But how you feel that effect depends on everything else going on in your body. Your hydration, the food you've been eating, stress levels, they all change the experience. The medication is the same, but your physiological context is different.
And part of that room is our hormonal environment. GLP-1s are just one voice in a very loud conversation between dozens of hormones that control hunger.
Exactly. Factors like stress, poor sleep, or the menstrual cycle can change your hormonal balance, making it feel like they're drowning out the medication. Okay, so that's the body. But what about the brain? I've heard about something called neural adaptation.
Yes, and this one is so important. In the first few weeks, the change in appetite feels massive, almost surreal. But over time, your brain adapts, it recalibrates, and that new, lower level of food noise becomes your new normal.
So the medication is still working just as hard, but your brain isn't flagging it as a huge dramatic change anymore.
Precisely. It's working more quietly in the background. And we have to remember, silence is not failure. It's often proof that the work is getting done.
And our expectations matter. If you've had a tough week, you're more likely to notice every flicker of hunger. That's why it helps to track outcomes like your weight trend over a month, rather than focusing on daily feelings.
Exactly. And all of this ties into the last big reason, cumulative lifestyle factors. This medication is a powerful tool, but it's working within the system of your body.
And the state of that system matters. A week of terrible sleep, high stress, maybe some extra alcohol, and not enough water, that's going to feel like a weaker medication week.
But that's good news, really. It means you have more influence than you think. By managing sleep, hydration, and stress, you can help create more of those monk weeks.
And that brings us to how experienced users think about this journey. They zoom out. They stop judging the medication's performance week by week.
Yeah, the questions change. It's not, did I feel full today? It's, am I eating less overall without a struggle? Is my weight moving in the right direction over several months?
If the answers are yes, the medication is working. Even on the weeks it feels like you are a raccoon.
Okay, so let's be super clear. A weaker feeling week does not mean your pen is broken. It does not mean you injected it wrong. And it definitely does not mean you need to immediately ask your doctor to increase your dose. That's a decision based on long-term patterns, not a single week's feelings.
Right. So when should you actually talk to your prescriber?
You should reach out if you see a consistent multi-week step backward in appetite control, or if you're having significant side effects like nausea or pain.
Or if your weight is consistently trending up over, say, 6 weeks or more despite being on the medication.
Exactly. Normal ups and downs don't need intervention. Persistent, concerning patterns do. Ultimately, this medication is changing your relationship with food for the long haul, and that journey isn't a straight line.
Well said. So for many of you who are listening feel that some weeks your injection just doesn't seem to work, well, hopefully today's discussion will give you some calm during the chaos. Everyone's reactions are different and unique, which is why we appreciate each and every one of you. And I hope you will return some of that appreciation by leaving us a great comment, review, or 5-star rating, especially if you listen on Apple Podcasts. Taking the time to do that means so much to us and keeps us going to produce more every week. Before we wrap for today, tell us, Scott, what final advice do you have on this same dose, different feel conundrum?
Thanks, Sarah. For me personally, on the hard weeks, I focus on what I know is true rather than what I feel. I drink more water. I go to bed on time. I remind myself that the trends matter more than the moments. On the good weeks, I try to remember that the quiet ones are coming, and that doesn't mean anything is wrong. The medication is doing something bigger and slower than any individual week can show you. So, on behalf of Sarah, I'm Scott Johnson, reminding you that these medications are changing the long term relationship between your brain and food, 1 week at a time, even the weeks that feel like nothing is happening.
Especially those weeks, Scott.
Thanks for listening, and always remember to love your journey.